Chipping technique number 1, the toe down chip. Technique number 2, the hinge and hold. Oh, that went in. And technique number 3, the dead hand chip. So which technique is best? Well, the answer is it depends on the conditions, the lie you have. It also depends on you and your personal preferences. But these are 3 shots that we encourage you to learn. And today we're going to show you how to play each of these 3 shots and the conditions that are going to suit each of them so you know when to play them. Each of these 3 techniques has their drawbacks and advantages, but there's one thing that you really should get right, regardless of which technique that you choose to use most often, and that's really going to help you with your consistency of your contact, your direction control, and your distance control. G'day golfers, I'm Glen Haynes. Welcome to Aussie Golf Pros, where we help you be the best golfer you can be. Let's begin with the toe down chip or the putt chip. This is a super option if your ball is sitting down in the ground, not a particularly good lie, because typically when golfers duff chips, it's the heel. It's this section down here that catches the ground and digs in. So it makes sense that if we raise the shaft up and get the toe down, because the toe is a little bit wider, it isn't going to grab the grass as easily. It's quite easy to get away with a slight miss hit, especially if the ball is sitting down in the ground.
And you use the toe, less resistance?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the heel as high as I can. That's what Raymond Floyd used to always tell me.
Yeah.
And then get your hand up there like that and stand as close as you can to it.
It's also really good for these delicate little finesse shots because we're just going to hit it like a putt. We're not really going to turn through the shot. We're not going to use any wrist hinge, which gives us more power. And we can be quite delicate with this shot. And I'll demonstrate this. So we're going to put the ball down into the ground here, bit of a bad lie. Bring the shaft right up, going to get really close to the golf ball, feet close together. And so the toe is down, the heel's off the ground. And I'm just going to hit it like a putt. Oh, nearly, maybe a fraction firm. Now, the thing about this one is that it goes very low. You're not going to get a lot of height and spin with this shot. And that's quite useful for those ones that you want the ball to run out a little bit more or just get over something just in front of you. So let me show you something. Just got a little telescopic magnet here. So if I connect that to the club face. Now, if we set up as normal, then that telescopic aid there is aiming to the target. I've got quite a lot of loft. I'm using a 56-degree sand wedge here. Now, as we go up with the shaft, notice how that gizmo is now aiming to the right. Now, in order to get it back to target, that means I'm now going to close the face. What happens when you close the face? You're reducing loft. So this is why this shot keeps the ball very low. You obviously have to make a slight adjustment, but it's a useful shot to learn, especially if that lie isn't very good around the greens. It's a really useful shot to have for those little finesse shots. You're not going to hit much grass at all. You're just going to be very light, soft hands, and just putt through the shot. And, oh, nearly. It's great for those soft finesse ones. Our second technique, called the hinge and hold, popularized by Phil Mickelson. Scottie Scheffler loves playing it as well.
Can he make 2 in a row? Terrific.
It's a shot where they use a lot of loft. I've got my 56-degree sand wedge here, but you can use a 60-degree lob wedge as well. And as the name suggests, we're going to hinge and then hold through the shot. It's a very powerful shot, so it's super for these longer chips. The ball's going to come out quite low, but with plenty of spin on it. So I've got a little rise here. It's going to help skip the ball up the rise and then spin. Really good for coming out the rough or a bad lie. You can really chop it out of the grass. And basically, it is a very wristy action. We're still going to turn through the shot here with the body, very different to the toe down chip or the putt chip. It's much more powerful as well. Still going to come out quite low, but with more spin and a bit more control. So you see, even though that was a sand wedge that's quite low, skips up the hill, and it's really good for those skip shots. So some people call it a check-up shot. You can see I took a little bit of a divot, so it's definitely a ball first shot. We're not using the bounce of the club, not using the bottom. It's all about contacting the ball, hitting down on the ball quite a bit. And at impact, the shaft is forward. Where it does fall down are those finesse shots where you want the ball to stop and land very softly, downhill chip, or if you just don't want to hit it very far. Because you're using a lot of wrist hinge, it can very easily get away from you on those softer, shorter chips. So it's great for longer shots, coming out of a bad lie, coming out the thick rough, and for getting the ball to skip up a hill. Jason Day calls this the dead hand chip, and Cameron Smith likes to use it a lot too.
Just Hazen's. Nothing he can't handle.
Very different to the hinge and hold, which is quite wristy. The dead hand chip, the hands and wrists are very passive. We're just going to turn through the shot, and it's going to be a longer, slower swing. We're going to use more bounce. We're going to use the bottom of the club to glide through the grass. So we're not taking a divot. We're just going to sweep the grass underneath the golf ball. And it's perfect for these soft lies. It's been raining a bit, so I've got a soft lie here. Not a lot of green to work with, so we don't want the ball to skip on. We want it to land softly. And this is ideal. I'm going to play the ball slightly forward in my stance so that I can use that bounce, and I'll have the shaft vertical. I don't have the shaft forward, I have the shaft vertical, using all of that bounce, soft hands. And you can see that it really lands quite softly, perfect for these delicate shots. And I've just got this left foot a little forward because I'm pivoting and turning around. That's very much a turn-based shot, all about the body. And a very soft landing shot. Where it doesn't suit, if you have a lot of green to work with and a longer chip, then you need quite a long swing. So that doesn't suit everyone. Still can play it. And obviously you have that option of going down in loft. You could maybe do it with a 9 or an 8 iron. But this is quite shallow through impact. So if it's sitting down too low in the grass or in thick grass, you're better off using a bit more wrist hinge to dig it out of that bad lie. But for this lie here, it's absolutely ideal. So did you pick up what was the same for all of these 3 different chipping techniques? It was the club face. We want to control the club face through the shot and keep it square to the target line. It's going to rotate slightly as you turn through, but we definitely don't want to be rolling the wrists. See a lot of social golfers and club golfers roll the wrists like they would in a full swing, but we definitely don't want that to happen with these chip shots. We're going to control the contact, the direction, and the distance control much better if we're keeping the club face square and then pointing upwards like that in the follow-through position. Regardless of whether it's a short chip or a longer chip, let's keep the club face square to that ball to target line as much as we can. You roll these wrists and you're really going to struggle. Your spin rate's going to change, your contact's going to be messed up. It's definitely not as consistent. So if you're looking for some drills to help you with the techniques that we talked about today, watch this video next. There's some super drills there to help you to achieve this control and this consistency that we're looking for. Thanks so much for watching. We look forward to your company next week. Are you the best golfer you can be?